Hola amigos! Welcome to Latina Living History. I'm Katie, and today we're going to take a walk down the road to hell paved with my good intentions. Many of you have heard the term UFO, and I'm not talking about the kind that Fox Mulder likes. I mean unfinished objects. Those of you who are any sort of artist or crafter or artisan probably have some of these lurking in your past or your present, which is my problem. So today I'm going to take a look at what do I have in my naughty pile, or the pile of stuff that I forgot, or I started it and didn't finish it for whatever reason, and then I'm going to decide on one that I'm going to finish. I'm going to do it. Honest. I swear. So in no particular order, I have over here my pile of things that never got done, and I'm gonna start with this one because it's on top. This is a pair of 1790s stays out of Jill Salem that I sized up and added some to the measurements and shortened it in the waist. And then when I got them this far, which is almost done, they just need binding and shoulder straps, I put them on and they were too big. So I stopped working on them. And then Christmas happened and I gained some weight and I haven't lost it. So these fit now. And Past Katie actually did a really nice job. They're very well made. And I still really like the color and the material. So I think these deserve to get some binding and some shoulder straps. And then I can use them as the base for all of my 1790s clothes that I was going to make this year for our trip to England that didn't happen. But it's going to someday, and I still want to make all those dresses. So this will be a great foundation for it. All right, next thing, and this is very old. This was a pair. This is a skirt. It's a flannel petticoat type deal. And the story goes that at one point at my local antique store, I found a really cool, probably 1900 or slightly later petticoat in a wool similar to this with a very tiny waist measurement. So I gave it to Samantha, the couture courtesan, who is here on YouTube, and you should check her out. But then shortly after, I found this really cool wool at our local fabric store and was like, hey, that looks just like my petticoat. So I bought some, and I was going to make an 1860s cold weather petticoat out of it, and just never got around to putting a waistband on it. So it's hemmed. It has decorative tucks. It's pretty much the right length to wear under a hoop. I just need to finish up this yoke area, which is cotton, so it's not too bulky around the waist. And someday, when it's not summer, and when we have events, like maybe going to Gettysburg in November again, this will come in really handy. All right, next up is one of my chiefest disappointments in myself. I started a fake Nankeen riding habit because I own a horse and I ride side saddle, and I actually have an antique side saddle that fits my horse. And we went June of 2018 to Genesee Country Village and Museum with Duncan and Carter, who was the horse that I was leasing at the time. So we had two horses and a bunch of side saddles, and I did not have a riding habit that fit me, and I tried my darndest, and I just did not get this finished in time. So I'm very disappointed because I never got a chance to wear it on my horse or at that event, and it was canceled this past year, and I was really discouraged about having not finished a project in a long time, so I didn't work on this anymore. But it is so close to being done. The skirt needs not a lot. It's very long. It doesn't even fit on the screen, but the skirt is a full 6 feet in length, starting from my underbust, because this is a Regency riding habit. It's got a little bodice already sewn onto it that just needs buttons and closures. The hem is already in, so that is mostly finished. And the jacket is actually better off than I remembered. I remembered being super fed up with this and not ever wanting to see it again, and it definitely needs some ironing. You can tell that I threw it in the naughty corner for a bit. But it too is almost done. It has the lining put in. And it looks like I need to whip the lining down around one arm. I already did this arm. It needs some finishing along the bottom here. And at one point, I think I remember that I screwed up the fronts in terms of which, did I put the left front on the right front or something? But now that I'm looking at it, I can't really tell. So I think if I just whip down the insides here and finish up some of the peplum and then decide on how I want it to look and close, I think what I intended to do was either a very small overlap or an edge-to-edge closure with some decorative buttons kind of in a curving V on the chest. I'll have to go back to my notes. If I was smart enough to keep notes, I guess we'll find out. But yeah, this one's really close to done, and it's gonna be really nice weather for riding soon, and maybe we could get some pictures with Duncan and the riding habit in the fall. That'd be really pretty. So this is a strong candidate for my next UFO to finish. This here is just some leather. Oops. This here is just some leather that I pulled because I was thinking of using it to bind the 1790 stays. This is the start of a petticoat to go under a sack back, or robe a la française, I believe is how you say it. I speak Spanish, not French. But it's the petticoat to go under a gown that I have not started. So, this probably is not my top choice to finish because there's a whole other dress that I have to make to go over this. And that's not going to happen for a while. I've had this for a long time. I still have the trim. I still have the rest of the silk. But it's just a lot of steps in order to get done. And I think maybe that's not quite the instant gratification I need. But I do still really like the fabric. So someday I will have a gorgeous 18th century gown with, this is the petticoat, pocket hoops, flounces, trim, all of that. But maybe not right now. And then this mystery green thing, let's pull you out. Oh, okay, it came out in one piece. So that means it's probably mostly put together. Oh, not as much as I want. Okay, this was a Regency dress that I was gonna make, that I did mostly make, actually, for a fall event that we usually go to, where it gets pretty cold. So it's gonna be a drop front. This needs some extensions because I ran out of linen while we were at the site, and I just said, you know, screw it, I'm gonna hem it so it doesn't fray all to bits. But then it'll have a bib front that'll get gathered along the top edge with a drawstring. And somewhere in here, here's a sleeve. That's a right sleeve. Ah, here's a left sleeve. Okay, I've got two sleeves. They need hemming, and obviously they need to be attached to the dress. But other than that, and then I need a strip to go around the waist, that one's pretty close to done too. Did I hem it? No. So that would need a hem. It's also probably very, very long, and I will need to either put it on a dress form or put it on myself and have someone mark the hem for me. But yeah, that's farther along than I thought. So the good news is that I have a number of achievable projects here. I've got at least 3 that are kind of sort of almost done, and I could probably even finish all 3 of them this year if I got motivated, but the way 2020's been going, I'm not going to bet on that. So what do you guys think I should work on? I'm kind of leaning toward the riding habit, but it could go either way. Tell me what you think. Thanks, guys. Adios.
Let me know in the comments what you think I should finish. As always, you can find me on Facebook at Latina Living History and on Instagram at La Vida Josefina.